Welcome to 247 Real Talk. I'm your host, Julian Perry, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you once again for another episode of the 247 Real Talk podcast. I hope you had a great week since we last spoke. I know that we in the East Coast here in New York has been warming up, and that's a beautiful thing for us. There's still a lot of ice as I look at my cameras. There's a tremendous amount of ice on the ground, and now I'm hearing that we may have snowstorm coming this Sunday and Monday again, so it's a winter that keeps on giving. But I look forward to the summer and the spring and the summer and even the fall, even though those three seasons seem short compared to what we deal with winter. I hope you had a great week. Like I said, welcome to my subscribers, my new subscribers, my existing subscribers, and welcome back to some who have left and come back. And to those who have left, there's always room for you here. I'm so thankful for you for this opportunity. And today I'm going to have a short episode and we're going to talk about acceptance and what it really means. So sit back, relax, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. Like I said, I'm your host, Julian Perry. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you for another episode of 247 Real Talk podcast. I was really exhausted yesterday. So today's Thursday, February 19th. I usually record on Wednesday nights, like you all know, but I was so exhausted I couldn't do it last night. I couldn't give you, a decent amount of me in the episode. So I pushed it to tonight. This episode airs at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, which means I have a long night ahead of me. Anyway, I'm so grateful to be here with you, and I'll jump right into it. I said I would speak about acceptance. So I've listened to different conversations. People have been talking about the various places they are in their lives. People have been talking about what's going on in the world. People have been talking about the recent passing of Jesse Jackson. His comparison and relationship to Martin Luther King. People have been talking about how they feel about their lives currently, and the fact that throughout history, throughout everything that we've derived from our past to where we are right now, that people didn't accept. People stood up for what they believed in. People fought for what they believed in. People worked hard towards what they believed in, but people did not accept. And so I've met a lot of disillusioned people who look to, maybe not within themselves because they lack the ability or they lack the confidence or they lack participation in a group or an entity or some sort of dynamic that allows them to stand united, to make a difference, to make voices heard. And they feel despondent and they say, it seems like everyone is just accepted. And I remind them that this podcast, what I do is empowerment. It allows you to hopefully find positivity in your life each and every day. If you listen to each podcast each week, I try to add some value to your life. I try to add some coping mechanisms to your life. I try to add dynamics that allow you to prosper in challenging circumstances. And in return, what I get from it is the ability to share, the ability to exhale, the ability to communicate, and first and foremost, and most importantly, the fact that whatever little role this plays, and in whether it touches 10,000 lives one week or one life that week, it makes a difference in someone. I'm hoping someone's life in terms of picking them up or in terms of giving them the tools they need to deal with a certain situation. Last week's episode focused on grief, and then using the tools that we use to manage grief in real life daily circumstances. Thanks again to my great guest, Alison Pena, for her lending her expertise to the conversation and hopefully to playing a significant role in your life, however you're dealing with grief or however you're dealing with life, and then looking for tools to be able to cope with your situation. But getting back to acceptance, I came across this quote from Iyanla Vanzant. It says, acceptance does not mean you agree with, condone, appreciate, or even like what has happened. Acceptance means that you know, regardless of what has happened, that there is something bigger at work than you. It means you know that you are okay and that you will continue to be okay. Let me read that again. Quote from Iyanla Vanzant. Acceptance does not mean you agree with, condone, appreciate, or even like what has happened. Acceptance means that you know, regardless of what happened, that there is something bigger than you at work. It means you know that you are okay and that you will continue to be okay. When I read it, it felt so powerful and important because taking it just for the words at face value, reading it over and over in the moment of challenge becomes what I call, it used to be a commercial about paper towels, the quicker picker upper. Accepting where we are today doesn't mean accepting what brought us here, accepting the conditions, and accepting that that's all there is to our lives or as far as we can go. However you view life, and again, I reiterate to all my listeners, I have listeners who have all different beliefs. When I come to you, I come to you from me. I can only come to you as I am. My personal belief is spirituality, is faith in my Creator and Almighty God. Whatever your belief, this conversation is still for you. Whatever you believe that gives you support, strength to go day by day. Accepting that right now in this moment, things may not be going the way you wished, dreamt of, and hoped for, does not mean that you're accepting the way things are. It only means that you're accepting that at this moment in time, these are the circumstances within which you live, but within which you will still manage to survive, and with the help and unity and all the positivity of the world, you will actually thrive. Some people talk about karma. Some people talk about whatever they believe in, a force bigger than they are. Mine is my Creator. The bottom line is, if you look back at your life, there are going to be many times, if you're truly truthful with yourself, where you sat in the same situation, in the same mindset, believing that you were stuck somewhere. And then all that is part of this universe around us to uplift us picked you up and moved you to a better place. And it is a true testimony that if you have a certain level of positivity, that it brings about positive results. True positivity. Not positivity because that's what you've been told, but you really don't believe it, but you're going to say it and pretend to be it. I'm talking about truly believing that this world is bigger than you. That this world is bigger than the bad things that are happening. That this world was not designed for chaos and for evil, but for us to thrive, for us to grow, for us to evolve, for us to be successful. Having a positive attitude and going about your day doing the right thing may appear to someone else as if you have accepted or even condone what's going on now. But it doesn't. Remember, as she says, it also means that you know that you are okay and will continue to be okay. You know that in the midst of the chaos of this world right now, you know that in the midst of a situation where you have very little control or feels that way, you know that in the middle of situations where for this moment in time, evil, greed, unrighteousness seems to be thriving, seems to be winning. And every wish and every prayer that you pray or every positive bit of energy you put in the world seems to bear no fruit. We as human beings are so impatient that we expect that if we sow everything we are into goodness, that the goodness that results needs to be on our timeline, that needs to happen when we want it to. That even though we are sowing goodness and wishing and putting positivity out there, that it's all about us. If you understand that acceptance means that these are just the circumstances for now, that you're not condoning them, you're not supporting them, and that you're going to be okay. Going forward, one foot in front of the other each and every day, allowing the universe, the creator, whatever you believe in positivity, to do its thing. The end result, no matter what that timeline, will be positive. One of the things that life has taught me is that impatience can be one of the most powerful tools that we have that works against us. We get so impatient. We sometimes feel tired, beaten down, worn. I can't make it another day. This has to happen tomorrow. And in many cases, it does, depending on the circumstance and what it is. And in many cases, it doesn't. But how many times, if we reflect on our lives, do we realize that we didn't accept for our lives? We understood that the acceptance was for a moment, but our beliefs were bigger and better and more positive and more powerful than our current set of circumstances. And then we look back and said, I would never have believed, based on what happened then, that I would have been in such a good position now. I don't know about your life, how realistic, how honest you are with yourselves, but I can tell you about mine. And I repeat those scenarios over and over again, and those scenarios have repeated themselves in my life over and over again. Sometimes I get angry with myself because I get down in the dumps of my friends and family and cousins and everybody. They give me empowerment that picks me up, and then when I'm done, I shake it off and I said, why are you in such doubt? And to be honest with you, in many cases, I'm so exhausted from the things I try to do in life. I'm so exhausted from busying myself trying to fix everything as far as I can go. I'm so exhausted holding on and not letting go that I get to a point where I'm beaten down, and for that moment I feel like I've accepted defeat. But then those voices, your voices, the people who I reach out to, who return that love and care, whether it be email, phone call, whatever, WhatsApp, whatever, lift me. And the funny thing is, each time they lift me, I rise higher than the point I was at before I fell before. What I'm doing at the same time is not only telling you about acceptance, but also sharing with you the fact that even I, who come to you each week in this positive attitude, have weakness. I get upset with myself. And I don't accept that I'm that weak. I don't accept that I can't do better. I accept that these are the circumstances right now. But I don't accept and believe that this is where I am, this is where I'm stuck, and this is what it will forever be. We live in a world with challenges. We live in a world where we see lawlessness all around us. We live in a world where we see unfairness. Unfairness to an extreme, because we see unfairness sometimes where someone loses their life. And I will say to you, as chaotic as it is not. We all have families. We all look forward to, or most of us do, or at least we have close friends. Or we have some acquaintances. We have someone in our lives. Even a next door neighbor. We all live amongst each other. And we all have people we care about that when we lose them, it hurts. I shared very personal moments with you last year about the 6 people, close people I lost in 1 year. It was hard. It beat me down. And then this year started with one very close family relative, and then we see all these celebrities, one after the other. And because there are people that are known to us in the universe and around the world, it feels like this is it. But it's not. I'm still believing that this too shall pass. That I shall enter another stage in my life where there's just positivity and great things coming. That despite every force that's acting against us, there's a movement happening. There's a regurgitation, a powerful regurgitation of blessings, positivity, positive energy that is coalescing, that is ramping itself up into this powerful movement that will eventually explode in positivity, overwhelming all that has tried to suppress it. So as you go about your day this week, as you go about your weeks, your months, this year, as you look around you and see destruction, as you look around you at moments that you feel helpless, as you look around you at things happening that anger you, that make you sad, it's okay to feel those emotions. But do not accept that this is it. And do not feel defeated because you're one of those who don't condone whatever has happened. Remember, you will be okay because of who you are. You'll be okay because of the positivity in your thoughts and the energy you put out in the world. You'll be okay because out of goodness, no matter the darkness, goodness comes. Iyanla Vanzant said again, acceptance does not mean you agree with, condone, appreciate, or even like what has happened. And I will add what is happening. Acceptance means that you know, regardless of what happened or is happening, that there is something bigger than you at work. It also means you know that you are okay and that you and I, as we stand together, will continue to be okay. Have an amazing week. Be positive. Stay strong. Accept where you are. And also be ready in all positivity to accept the goodness that's yet to come. Until the next time, please, take care of yourselves and each other.